All right, good morning, family. Welcome back. I believe we are now live on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Good morning to you. Thank you for finding the show. Numerous things to discuss. Now, on the local angle, of course, being live in the city of Cincinnati, I got to give you updates on the big meeting, big CPS meeting. I'll tell you what happened. If you're a CPS parent or affiliate, you definitely want to hear that. Stick around. I also want to talk about a video of a black mother confronting a police officer who was harassing her son. As I understand it, she said he ran a red light or didn't stop at a stop sign, something like that. Stops the young man like right in front of the driveway of his house. And he gives her the registration and license. She starts trying to run him down about does he have any warrants and things like that. His mother gets involved. And that's when things take on a whole different course. I want to play the audio for you and get your thoughts this morning. Hey, family, please to take a second to like and share today's show. Please like and share today's show. Your shares mean everything. And we'll get the show started in about 30 seconds, all right? I want to give you a second to like and share today's show. Hey, Samantha's on YouTube. She writes, good morning, all. Good morning to you, Samantha. Please like and in particular share today's show. When you share the show, more people see it, period. That's just what it is. I appreciate you.
You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Let me know how we sound and how we look this morning. We are live on Spreaker. It feels great. I'm excited about it. Believe me, I was not happy, but I had to take care of some audio equipment on my end. I believe I've taken care of it at this point. If you have any issues, please don't hesitate to send me a message, and I'll do my best to take care of it. Lots of stuff to discuss this morning, family. I'm glad that we can get back and do the full show, right? The show that I imagine. And if you support independent Black voices, then give us a like and a share. If you like the content that I produce, please give us a like and share. And always, you can go back to my website to see all the content there, nathanivey.com. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Viva la Choppers. Let's get to the choppers this morning. How are you? Yeah, I'm excited. Hey, welcome back. Yay, we made it. We back in the building. Broadcasting live from beautiful Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm Nathan Ivey, your humble host, as always. Numerous things to discuss, as always, family. Lots of stuff, man. Local, right? National, cultural. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Again, please like and share today's show. And if you want to share your thoughts this morning, you can transform your brain waves into talk radio waves at 513-873-7134. Viva la Choppers. We is back in the building. Yeah. Feels great. I'm excited. Listen, for folks who are just getting hip to the show, man, I've been doing an audio show for like 3-4 years. It kicked off as an audio show primarily. We've only added a video element in the last couple of months. That's relatively new. But I've been rocking with these folks, man, the ups and downs. We had some incredible moments, some really interesting talk radio moments over the last few years. And now we're expanding it with the blessing of video. We're going to bless you with the flows every single morning. And listen, if you don't already know it, I want to make sure I tell you this. This show is on YouTube. I'm building out the YouTube channel and other channels as well. All right. Look forward more for that. But I'm building out the YouTube channel and help me meet my first milestone, which is 1,000 subscribers. And see, I had no idea how YouTube worked, but now I've got a better understanding every single day. And YouTube has a whole lot of functionalities, but you've got to hit certain milestones in terms of the number of hours that people spend watching your YouTube channel and also the number of subscribers that you have. And we've already hit the hour milestone many times before. Now I've had a YouTube channel for years, but I was posting the daily audio and that's cool and all. But I mean, you don't go to YouTube for audio, do you? No, you go to YouTube for video. And now you can check out the live stream show every single day and more to follow. Keep watching more shows on CDM, Send Digital Media, to come within the next couple of weeks. Actually, you hear me talk more about it. So I'm really excited about it. And I'm able to do what I'm doing because of your support. And I appreciate it. I really do. All right. Good morning, everybody. How are you? I got to start inside the chop shop this morning. I got to start there. Hold on. Let me give the graphics up. Let me get everything up the way we need it. We back in the building all the way. I love it. I see Crutha writes, good morning, choppers. Hey, good morning to you, Crutha. Brian writes, good morning. Tracy writes, hi. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and the choppers. She writes, IE chop shop. Yeah, we back. Oh, hell, Beckman Jr. I saw a YouTube video. Well, I saw a clip of a YouTube video. There's a YouTube podcast called the No Jumper podcast. They're getting crazy numbers. I enjoy their work. And let's just say that there may be more of a connection between Odell Beckham Jr. and the Cleveland Browns. I'll leave it like that. People got some weird fetishes out there. Oh, hell, Beckham Jr. writes, thank goodness Nathan is back on Spreaker. Good morning, choppers. Alt middle is for the children. Good to see you. Nathan Ellis writes, good morning, all. Good morning, all. I hope all is well. Michael Lee Holmes. What? Bill Blackwell. Oh, yeah. Most def. Yeah, Nathan was out with us when we did the last gun training. The tactical training course was the first one we did with Ride or Die. That dude knows what he's doing out there. He was with the A class. I saw you. And Nathan, I got some videos too, man, if you want to see it and some images. Yeah, of all the folks, I took video and photographs because I knew you couldn't do it. You were doing your thing. But if you want them, let me know and I'll send them to you. Clue Magic writes, Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. You might want to see yourself in action. You might want to post it or something. Just have it for yourself. I got you. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Chuck Dace writes, sup. Brenda writes, happy Tuesday. Fox writes, rise and shine, young stars. Hey, good to see everybody. That's my number on the screen if you want to transform your brain waves into talk radio waves. All I ask is that you open your mind before you open your mouth. Other than that, it's all good, homie. It's all good. We can always agree to disagree. Ain't nobody gonna get in their feelings about it. And it is what it is. We just move on. Simple as that. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. How was the last 24 hours? You doing well? Okay. What's on your radar screen? You know, I know what I want to talk about today. Okay. Among other things, I want to talk about this right here. Have you seen this? Have you seen this video? I saw this video first on Willie D Live, who does great work on YouTube. I love Willie D Live. Okay. And that's the first person I saw post this. And you got to hear this audio, family. I'm going to play this for you here in just a second. You got to hear this. But let me give you the backstory. Okay. Let me give you a little bit of the backstory here so we all on the same page. So apparently a 19-year-old boy, he's on the left side right there. You see right there? He was driving his car. He got pulled over by the police officer on the right. Apparently this happened in Elk Grove, California. And what happened afterward, I can only be called in confrontation. Now, apparently he complied with the officer, and you can see in the officer's left hand right there, and gave her his license and registration. That is a female, as I understand it. And apparently that wasn't enough. She starts running him down, talking about, does he have warrants and probation and stuff like that. His mother gets involved. How? Well, apparently he was on his own street. And they're like parked right in front of and on the property of his family. So his mother, either he texted her or she looks outside the window. She gets concerned. She comes outside and gets involved and confronts the officer. And in these particular days and times, what law enforcement and people in general have to understand is that the black family is on high alert when it comes to dumb ish from police officers. The black family is on high alert when it comes to dumb ish from white people across the board. We tired of it. We ain't having it, period. It don't matter whether it's at the school. It don't matter whether it's at a restaurant. It don't matter if it's on I-75, if it's on the interstate, or you're dealing with an interaction with police officers. Black folks is sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of it. Now, some people will watch this video and will misinterpret it. They'll be like, well, see, black people don't like law enforcement. What? Smart black people just understand the history of the relationship between law enforcement and the black community, right? I myself have had an incident. I'm Mr. Joe Clean. I have a clean record. You know what I'm saying? A few years ago, little Buddha, I was picking little Buddha up from her daycare. So it was after, maybe it was like 5, maybe somewhere between 5 and 6 p.m. because her daycare ended at 6. I'm picking her up, but I have forgotten that my registration had expired. Okay. Simple mistake. It happens. We had the bread. We had the money. You know what I'm saying? We paid for it. I get pulled over in the Clifton area on Clifton Avenue. You know what I'm saying? Like if the people were sitting inside of that Skyline Chili, they could have saw us because it was like a Shell gas station. The officer pulled me over right there. Okay. I knew what it was. I'm like, oh, damn. I'm beating myself up. Like, why am I putting myself in this situation? I know I should have got the registration, but hey, I ain't infallible. Are you? You make mistakes? We all make mistakes. It happens. We all make mistakes. It happens. Hold on one second here. Yeah, we all make mistakes. It happens. You know what I'm saying? No harm, no foul. Life goes on, right? No big deal. This officer is a white officer. Instead of him just giving me, giving me whatever the citation was, he proceeds to tell me that he knows I don't have insurance. Oh, I know you don't have insurance. I bet when I go back here, it's like he wanted to get into an argument. I had little Buddha in the background. At that point, she was little Buddha. She was like, this happened like 7, 8 years ago, right? I'm like, what's up, bro? I'm like, man, look, just take the license and registration and run it and do whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying? This guy wants to argue with me. Look, a little short officer. He couldn't be no more than like 5'5". So I don't know if he had a Napoleonic complex because there's a lot of short men with Napoleonic complexes. See Tory Lanez. That's probably why he shot her. Little bitty fella, little Bushwick Bill. He gonna show you I'm a real man and all this kind of nonsense. I'm a real man. I'm a real man, right? And he wants to argue with me. I was like, man, just run it. I had to tell him, like, dude, just run the plate and do whatever you got to do. Like I said, I'm always prepared to go to jail. Let's go. Because I'm going to get out, right? I ain't afraid to sit down there for a few hours or a day or 2 or a weekend, whatever we got to do, right? This guy wants to argue with me. And like I said, I had no record whatsoever. He takes my information. He goes back to his cruiser and does all this kind of stuff. He comes back, asks me to get out the car. Now, why do I have to get out the car? It was all in an effort to try to provoke me into being combative or aggressive, right? Those are the buzzwords they use with black men, especially with black men with any kind of size and stature or bass in their damn voice, right? Some white folks who are in positions of authority, they, ooh, what's that? Ooh, we got us one here, right? Then he tells me like, oh, my bad, because he found nothing. There's nothing to see. So, this goes to show you how people can be stereotyped. And I say this all the time, like if that happened to me and I have no record, can you imagine what black men who have a little bit of something on their record have to deal with? Can you imagine? So listen, I just told my own story. You want to share your story? I'm sure you can as well. But I want to play this audio for you. And in particular, what I want to know is I want to know what you think about how the mother handled this. Okay, so I've given you the backstory. Let me give you the audio here. We got it ready? We got it ready. Go ahead and roll this.
Okay, but you're making this dangerous. You're escalating it. Go give my son his ticket, and we will take care of this in court. You will not be the judge and executioner on this property right here. You will not. Go give my son his ticket. You have his ID. You can easily run his ID and see if he's on probation or parole. Not this child. Then go do your job. Why are you standing there? Why are you holding on to your gun? Why? Your hand is on your gun. Go run his ID. I'm being violent? No, I'm not being verbally aggressive. You will not change this up. You will not create the narrative here that we've been seeing on the news. If he ran a stop sign, that's what you're saying, we will happily take the ticket. But I will not allow my son to stand here in front of you with your hand on your gun. That will not happen. He's not leaving. He's standing right here. My son is not leaving. No, he's standing on our property line. We own this house. He's standing on our property line. You said he ran a stop sign, right? Go give him the ticket, and then you can leave in due time. You guys, she done called for backup and everything. Y'all share this video because my son will not be the next hashtag.
So here is a mother who is obviously very conscious and knows what's going on. She knows what time it is. And she's like, well, you already got the registration. You already got his license. You're parked outside of our home. Go do your job. Go run it. I mean, do whatever the process is, whatever the citation is, whatever the fine is, go do it. But, you know, from watching this several times and just knowing people, see, sometimes people in authority get caught in their feelings. They get caught up in their feelings. And it's like, oh, how dare you try to tell me how to do my job, even when you tell them to do the right thing? Why are you calling for backup? Like in a scenario that I told you when I was dealing with a Cincinnati police officer, y'all, the officer I was talking about, and again, I'm cool as a fan. I got medium booted in the back, so you know I ain't gonna do nothing crazy because I'm with her. No record. I'm not running. No drugs. No weapons. No nothing. The officer in my scenario called for backup. What you calling backup for? It's a routine traffic stop. But he's anticipating that I'm going to do something, right? Again, little bitty fella, like this tall. Little bitty fella. I'm like, okay, what's up with this? And like I told you, in my scenario, and this has happened many years ago, and I only share my scenario because if it happened to me, I can only imagine what is happening to these other brothers out here. You know what I'm saying? That maybe do have records. This mother's exactly right. Why turn this into something more than it really has to do? That's because sometimes what I've seen, my observation, is that sometimes when citizens confront officers and they're right, the officers want to get mad. I got to one-up you now. Or they try to criminalize you. You know what I'm saying? But this mother wasn't even involved with the traffic stop, as I understand it. She came out to defend her son. Did she do the right thing?
Not gonna happen. If you're not gonna give him the ticket, we're not gonna stay out here. Then go give him the ticket. You're free to leave. No, I'm not leaving my son in your hands with your hand on your gun. You are free to go give him a ticket. If he ran a stop sign, it's no point for this. You have his driver's license, registration, and insurance in your hand. You just looked at it. You're trying to question if he's on probation or parole because he's a black man? You can run his name and go give him his ticket. But you're not. You're not. You said you fear for your safety, but yeah, you could go to the car and give him your ticket, and this shouldn't take longer than 5 to 10 minutes. But you're not. My son will not be the next hashtag. It will not happen. You free to leave off our property because if you slip and fall on this property, guess who's liable? It's us liable. So you're not going to give him the...
So clearly in the video, the officer has her hand on her weapon. And I think what officers need to understand is that people, black people in particular, are highly sensitive to that. Like you could have your hand in 1,000 different places. Why is your hand resting on the top of your weapon? That makes people nervous. You know what I'm saying? Like if you was talking to somebody, this is an open carry state in Ohio, and you sitting there talking with them, maybe you having a disagreement, they got their hand on the weapon. Is that going to make you nervous? You're damn skippy it would. So what makes you think in reverse it won't make us, the citizens, nervous about you? See, some of these police officers, y'all need to have a come to Jesus moment about what's really going on and how people really perceive you. Like I said yesterday, I'll say it again. Everybody running around, I hear more people criticizing Black Lives Matter. I hear more people criticizing the whole defund the police movement than I do criticizing the bad officers that kill people and try to get away with it, which causes the ripple effect and frustration in the first place. In the city of Cincinnati, I hear more people running around talking about Black Lives Matter in the negative, run around talking about people's safety imagined in the negative, than I do talking about the bad behaviors of the officers locally, regionally, and nationwide that caused the backlash in the first place. Did the mother do the right thing? I mean, that's her child. What would you do in that situation? I think any mother would do the same thing. Because you're dealing with a 19-year-old. And yeah, sure, a 19-year-old is grown, but you don't really have a lot of life experiences. All 19-year-olds are different. They may not be able to articulate how they feel. They might not have what it takes to really defend themselves. That's where mom and dad got to come in and do it. That's where mom and dad have to come in and do it and handle that work. What do you think? What do you think? Pamela writes, she's on Facebook. She writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Hey, good morning to you. Wanda writes, good morning. Good morning, Wanda. Jared is on YouTube. He writes, good morning, hashtag Team and I. Courtney writes, would love to hear your opinion of the home where the boys disobeyed administration and still carried flags on the field. You see. Would love to hear high school in Cincy that disobeyed school orders and still carry flags to the field, and now the entire community is up in arms. Say, send me a link. That's not on my radar screen. Please send me a link. High schoolers, what flags was it? Was it like some pro-community flag, something like that, Black Lives Matter? If in fact that's what it was, I love it. I love it. Janice writes, good morning. Dale writes, good morning, Nate. TNT writes, good morning. Hey, good to see everybody. Aquindo writes, good morning. Congrats on your journey. I'm still here with you, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, every single day we learn and grow here on the Nathan Ivey Show. Hey, Kareem writes, happy Tuesday. Appreciate it. Hey, listen, if you like my content, if you like the content I deliver, please like and in particular share. When you share, more people see it on Facebook and YouTube. More people see it. And I hit a milestone, my first 1,000 viewed YouTube video. So I'm mildly pumped about that. C. Smith is in the house. She writes, good morning, Nathan the Choppers. Good morning to you. Tiffany writes, good morning, all. Jason writes, good morning. Jeannie writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Christina writes, good morning, brother. Good morning, Nate, and the new. And from New Miami. From New Miami. Okay. Good to see you, Christina. Deshauna writes, good morning, Nate and everyone. May your day be blessed. Stay safe and have a wonderful day. Absolutely. I mean, we sit down to dinner every single day as a family. It's the most important time I get a chance to because the wifey's busy. We're ripping and running. Our son is doing virtual learning. So that hour, 90 minutes every single day is so important. And we talk about our day. And every day I say the same thing. I love it. I'm happy to be here. I almost wasn't here. I love it. I don't care if it's sunny. I don't care if it's snow. It don't really matter. It's a beautiful day to be alive. C. Smith writes, I can dig it. Dale writes, I'm getting heated listening to this. It will make you heated. Let's listen to more here. Then you tell me if the black mother is wrong. Is she right? I'll be honest with you. Straight up, I think the woman was straight up right. You're dealing with a 19-year-old, they don't really know. I mean, some of them, as I said, are more with it, more woke, more able to verbalize their feelings and defend themselves than other. But 19, I mean, you young in the game. You're a new adult. You've only been an adult for 2 years, a year, depending on, where you are in that spectrum of being 19. But check this out. Here's more.
No, we're giving you reasonable enough time to identify him. Don't fold our paperwork. Please don't damage our paperwork. We're giving you a reasonable enough time to identify him. Look, y'all, she got his license right there. And still got to hold on to her gun. Got his license right there, but she still want to ask to identify him. Tanea, she's calling for backup. She calling for backup for whatever reason. Like, he literally got pulled over when we came outside.
Now, the officer is talking, but it's almost imperceptible. I mean, as you can see there in the image that the officer has a face covering on and just isn't really talking too loud. But see, what I love about this is you got these phones. These phones are fantastic devices. You got to be willing to record this kind of bad behavior, because if you don't, people will lie on you. And again, be ready, family, because I've done it myself. You're going to get a reaction, but I don't really give a damn about the reaction. So what? The real question is, why is it that we're in a place where black folks feel like they have to record these kind of interactions? That's the real question. You got to be willing to whip that phone out and put it straight in their face and deal with whatever consequences. Some people are too afraid to do that. Like, they're not going to like it. I don't care. Not one bit. The real question is, why am I forced to do this? It's a damn shame that she said they're property owners. That means they're taxpayers. Property owners, that means these are, the kind of citizens that are actually contributing to their local community. It's a damn shame that black folks got to deal with this. Just do your damn job. That's it. Black folks are not asking for anything extraordinary. We just want you to do your damn job. That's it. And keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that's serious and warrants backup and all this serious stuff, okay, do what you gotta do. But when it's something that's small, go focus on the real criminals. You run around harassing this 19-year-old, asking him, are they on probation or not? I mean, what are you doing? Running through a checklist? Think about what you're doing in the times that you're doing it. Just think about it. That's it. And people will say that this black family doesn't support the police, but I bet that they do. They just don't support being harassed by the police. Let's listen to more.
Yelling at him. I heard you on the radio yelling and screaming. That's why we stepped outside. I heard you. My son will not be victim to you guys. I'm sorry. It will not happen ever on my watch. Ever. Go give him the ticket. And look, you got 5 minutes to go give him the ticket or else we're going inside. No, if you're not gonna identify him, give him the ticket, we're gonna go inside. He's not leaving. This all ours. This is all our property. He is not leaving. No,
and so at this point in the video, the officer clearly is in her feelings. Like, this woman is telling her to do the right thing, but she don't want to do it just because she's telling her to do it. That's all it is. You ever been in a situation like that where you telling somebody that you know it's the right thing to do? They don't want to do it just because it's the right. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. That's all it is. As I watch the video, what I can't understand is, why don't you just do just that? Just go get a ticket, go back to your cruiser, do whatever you do, process it, give them the ticket, and then go after some real criminals. That's all you got to do. But no, now you want to stand your ground and call for backup and try to make it seem like it's, I'm afraid because you're verbally aggressive. Could you imagine you're in your home and you hear some commotion outside? Sounds like police. Who are they arguing with? Now, you know your child is not there. Maybe you know your child's on the way back. You look outside the window, your child's been stopped by police. The police are screaming at your kid on some dumb ish. You're going to run out there and do the same exact thing. You're going to do the same exact thing. If you're not willing to protect your child, who is? You got to do it. You got to do it. Courtney writes, good job, Mom. I agree. Nat writes, good morning, Choppers. Courtney writes, give him the ticket and move along, fight crime somewhere else. Right. But again, some of these officers get in their feelings. They know what the right thing to do is, but they get caught up in their feelings. You ain't going to tell me what to do. I am the law. You know, all this Judge Dredd type of stuff. I bet you that happens a whole lot where brothers end up with charges because the officer got in their feelings. I bet you. Kendall writes, good morning. She's on YouTube. Hey, good morning to you. Dill writes, yeah, they like to escalate ish. Yeah, they do. I dealt with it myself. This little officer trying to escalate it with me for no reason, out the blue. Oh, I know you don't. I bet when I go back and run this that you don't have insurance. I ain't even dignified. I'm like, well, go run it. Go run it then. Why are you? There's no conversation that's needed. Just go run the plates. Go run my name. Go run my social security number. Find out whatever you're going to find and then do whatever you got to do after that. But we ain't got to talk back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Some people bring their bad attitudes to their jobs. Same thing with police officers. They have bad interactions with people, and then they want to get in their feelings because people feel some kind of way toward the actions of police officers. You can't have it both ways. If I was a police officer, I would be pissed when I see stuff like this because you making things harder for me out here on some stupid ish. I would be pissed. I'd have no toleration for it whatsoever. You put my life on the line because of your actions. People going to see the uniform that you wear. I'm wearing the same uniform, but you out here doing some dumb ish. And they're going to blame me. Where's that mentality? Does that mentality exist on the police force? We need to hear that more. We've heard it before here, even in Cincinnati, but we need to hear it more. Clay writes, look, what the hell? Oh, man, we ain't on that, Clay. I don't know what the hell that is. Oh, man, somebody's child is on you. Is that on Facebook? What? Hey, Clay, I'm definitely going to have to block you, bro. You can take that issue on somewhere else. Charles writes, they always call for backup. I've had interactions with police when they didn't call for backup. Yeah, I had many interactions with police traffic. They didn't call for backup at all. They just processed the situation, gave me a citation, or they gave me a warning in some cases. Always thankful when you get a warning. And I moved on. Simple as that. C. Smith writes, yes, she did the right thing. Ain't nobody playing, I agree. Nat writes, these racist race soldiers are emboldened. Yes, they are. Dale writes, I'm telling you, Nate, random drug testing for all officers doing any incident involving any attempted use of force. Yes, I agree. I agree immediately. Especially when there's an officer involved shooting. If that's not the current standard, it should be the current standard. Since we're talking about current standards and policing and things like that, I'd be remiss in my duties if I didn't bring up the fact that there is some news, some local news in that particular area, okay, that I want to share with you. There's a new director for CAA, and I saw some of his comments. And we need to talk about that at some point this morning. All right, I think it's all a part of the conversation. TNT writes, it always comes down to their feelings. The self-righteousness belief that they are the judge, jury, and executioner. Right. It's always their ego that gets someone killed or beating to death. Right. It's the ego. Kareem writes, what city was this video? The video was taken in Elk Grove, California. It's a near drop. Elk Grove, California. Yeah, I saw it first on Willie D Live. It's up on his YouTube page. I'm not sure. His Instagram page. That's where I saw it first. He does great work. Check him out. Greg writes, from the audio, it seems like the mother did what a mother would naturally do. She did the right thing at a risk to herself. Absolutely. As any parent, you'd rather take that bullet rather than your children any day. Gregory's on YouTube. He writes, good morning, brother. Hey, good morning, Gregory. Ray is on YouTube. She writes, grand risings all. Good morning. Courtney writes, I can only imagine what might have happened if his mother was not there. Right. We can only speculate as to what might have happened if his mother wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? It could have been bad. Could have been real bad. Could have been real bad. But we got a call on the line. Let's take it this morning. Hey, good morning, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Yo, brother, you on the line. Good morning. I'm not sure what just happened. Call me back. I'll put you on. I'll try to put you on at 513-873. There we go. 7134. There it is right there. You can check it out. 513-873-7134. I'll put you straight on. We can get into it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. He's calling back. Let's see if we can get him on here. Sorry about that. Yeah. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
You hear me? Nate, you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Yo.
We hear you loud and clear, brother. I'm not sure. Well, if he calls back, we'll try it another way. But I do, just so you know, I do hear you loud and clear. Yeah, we can definitely hear you. You might have some issue hearing me, but we hear you for sure. Okay, there's the number right there. If you want to give it another try, we'll try it another way. Let me see. Nat writes the same thing they did in the 60s at MLK. Turn the person or movement into the bad guy. After the white supremacist killed him, now he's a hero. Greg writes, and why did the cop have her hand on her gun? I agree. Why did she have her hand on her gun? Clearly, her hand was on the gun. Anywhere in the world, people are going to take that like, okay, the threat level's going up. And when the mother asked her, like, well, why do you have your hand on your gun? She said, well, you're being verbally aggressive. Huh? What? Being verbally aggressive? So that justifies you putting your hand on your gun because I get loud? I'm telling you, when black people get loud, some white people take it as an immediate threat. But it's okay for them to get loud with you. But that's okay, though. There's no problem there. C. Smith writes, Blue Lives Matter. Yes, they do. They do. Yes. There was Blue Lives Matter flags, huh? Huh. Let me see here. See, schoolers. Let me see. Somebody send me a link. I'll check it out. Where was this at? Okay, I'm getting it now. Two Ohio high school football players suspended after carrying thin red line flags onto the field. In Morrow, Ohio, two high school football players have been suspended from the team after they carry thin blue line and thin red line flags on. What's the thin red line flag? I don't know what that is. I know what the blue line flag is. Cornerback Brady Williams and linebacker Jarrett Bentley, so Brady and Jarrett, who attend Little Miami High School, asked for permission to carry the flags, but were told no. The players wanted to honor firefighters and police officers on the 19th anniversary of the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attack, which was more so a failure of the Bush administration. They blew it. The incident is similar to a controversy at Chardon High School where a player carried a thin blue line flag onto the field before a game, leading the superintendent to ban the flag, saying that the school district policy doesn't permit engaging in political activity. Okay. And so they did it anyway, huh? Well, I mean, my initial thoughts about this is I like the idea that high schoolers, that young people are engaged in the social and political process. I'm glad they care more about than just playing football and, watching music videos or YouTube videos and whatever the hell you do when you're in high school, okay? I like that idea. But the rules are the rules, right? These are high schoolers, minors, non-adults. You don't have a right to be on a football team. Something tells me this would be the same if some kids wanted to bring Black Lives Matter flags or signs or whatever onto the field. As long as the rules are going to be applied fairly across the board, it is what it is. That's my thought. That's my initial thought on it. It is what it is. They've been suspended. Okay. Well, I can see that. I have to get more details. Is there a history of this kind of like political, activation or activities in that particular school? I don't know. I think it's admirable that Brady and Jarrett wanted to honor firefighters and police officers on the 19th anniversary of September 11th. I think that's admirable. But Brady and Jarrett are not NFL players. Brady and Jarrett are minors, and they go to school. They go to a high school where you got all kind of rules. I mean, we just saw a young man in Colorado get suspended because he allegedly flashed a toy gun that the teacher knew it was a toy gun. Got 5 days suspended. So I get it. Those are my initial thoughts, not having read anything more into it. The thin red line flag, as I'm reading, is meant to honor firefighters injured or killed on duty. Okay, admirable. Okay, got no problem with it. But do that on your own time, not when you're a minor playing high school sports. You know what I'm saying? If those are the rules, it is what it is. Do I have any sympathy for Brady and Jarrett? No, I do not. I don't have any sympathy for them because they knew what the rules were. They knew there were consequences. They decided to do it anyway. I respect it. I respect the rebel spirit, the just F authority-ness of it. I like that part of it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Are Brady and Jarrett going to end up, being in one of Trump's, political campaigns or something like this? Could be. They might be at the next Republican National Convention in 4 years. But those are my thoughts on it. David writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Hey, thank you, Courtney. Appreciate it. Dominique writes, good morning, Nate. I'm heading to South Carolina. You on the road again, doing your thing? He's on the road again. TNT writes, citizens are not allowed to be afraid for our lives. Every day, people are expected to not question and endure the abuse. Right. They expect you just to shut up and, whatever they say, you just take and don't raise your voice and don't say anything in return. And, that makes you a good little worker bee. Bump that. Deshauna writes, she was right. I'll defend mines over Ish. Greg writes, I support the Blue Lives Matter ID and slogan. I don't know about the organization, though. Its founder has admitted on CNN that she is a Marxist. And Lord Jamar, a rapper who used to be with Brand Nubian, says that Soros funds the Black Lives Matter organization. He might throw them some money. Okay. And I have a problem with that. Do I support Blue Lives Matter? Well, I support I don't want police officers to be the victims of violent crime and abuse and death and things like that. So in as much as that's what Blue Lives Matter means, yeah. My problem with Blue Lives Matter is that people are using that as if it's a counterbalance to Black Lives Matter. People throw that out as if it's either or, like it's a zero-sum conversation, like either it's Black Lives Matter or it's Blue Lives Matter. And why can't it be all? Why can't it be all of the above? So as much as Blue Lives Matter means, protecting the safety, because these police officers got families that want to go home. I get it. And as much as that's what it means, I support it. For the people that use it to try to counterbalance or to overshadow, other issues that are happening, I can't get down with that. C. Smith writes, it's domestic terrorism. You can hear the bravery and the fear in the mother's voice. Folks are tired of this mess. With police, pull these phones out and record, may make all the difference for you and yours. Right, you got a power. This phone is so powerful if you use it. Hit that record button and record it. You know what I'm saying? Record it. What are they going to do? Nothing. They might scream and yell. They might tell you to leave if they have the authority to tell you to leave their business or whatever it is, their office, they might do all of that. And so what? Big deal. In my sister Frances' voice, she is not wrong, right? This cop wouldn't have done that to Cody or Gunner. I'm just saying. You think so?
Right in the middle of the intersection. So you want to be a smart ass. Tanea, it's hard to calm down when I got a black son with the cop right here with her hand on her gun. We're in Elk Grove, California, in front of our own house. This our house. She says she's not leaving. He is detained. She think he on probation or parole because he's another black man. Why don't you Google who he is?
For your information, we not all on probation or parole.
Right.
Never been on it.
We're not going inside.
So what is she afraid? He's going to take off running? I don't get it. So what happens is sometimes you can have good people that make bad decisions. That happens. Sometimes you have bad people that are given authority and they make a series of bad and good decisions. That happens. And sometimes what happens is people try to justify their bad actions. That's what happens. And that's what it seems like in this scenario. Like she knows she's wrong, but she knows the law. So she want to be a stickler for the law, right? Oh, and then when the backup shows up, hey, listen, I'm trying to effectuate this. I'm trying to get this arrest. And these folks came out here raising their voice at me. And then the officers are trained in almost any scenario, no matter what the scenario is, no matter what the context, to automatically do two things in my observation. Don't get in the way of the officer. If that officer is at the point of the arrest, don't get in the way of it. And then secondly, back up the officer no matter what. And then once we handcuff everybody and put you in the police cruiser, we come back and talk about it. And then maybe an hour or two later, maybe we take you down and we process you at the court. Then we can figure it all out. Meanwhile, they've wasted your time. They've detained you. They're on the clock. They shift almost over with like, I'm about to go home and eat. And you've been sitting down in the county for the last few hours or maybe longer than that. It's a damn shame. See, this is what Black in America looks and sounds like. This is what it looks and sounds like.
So are you going to give him the ticket? How long we been out here now? 10 minutes? Because Jessica, she said he ran a stop sign, but she kept on questioning if he's on probation or parole. He said no. She refuses to run his information to give him the ticket. So now she's just standing here. She done call for backup.
This issue makes no sense. He ran a stop sign. You think he's on probation, right? If you think he's on probation, you know what you should do? You know what you should do? You should run his name, and then you'll see whether he's on probation or not. Real simple. What am I missing? What are we missing? Hey, good morning, caller. Welcome to the show. Let's do it old school. Hey, good morning, caller. Welcome to the show. Call me back. I'll put you straight on. I'm not sure what's happening with the phone lines this morning. Listen, when you call in, you listen through your phone. You know, if you're listening or you're watching like your laptop or some other device, just listen through your phone. And if you're listening on Spreaker and even on Facebook, once you make that phone call, that should stop in the background. But call me right back and I'll try to put you straight on. Like if what the mother is saying is accurate about this scenario, then the officer is dead wrong. If you think he's on probation, you ask him, he say no. If you don't trust him, then run his name and you'll see. But all this other stuff is just that. All this other stuff, man. Please stop playing with Black folks, man. We don't have time for it. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got time for it. Just do your freaking job. That's all Black folks want you to do. Can I speak for the Black family? I'm speaking in sweeping generalities, right? But can I speak for you? That's all we want. Just do your job. Just do your job. Go find the bad guys, bring the bad guys to justice, and move on with your day. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Don't try to turn non-criminals into criminals because it'll make you feel better about yourself or make you look better or whatever the hell your issue is. All right? Don't do that. Black folks got better things to do, don't we? All right. Think about it and react. If you want to share your thoughts, 513-873-7134. You're watching the Nathan Ivey Show, okay? Multiple ways to interact with the show. The audio portion on Spreaker, Also, tune in. You can subscribe to either one of those platforms. We're on YouTube this morning, and we're also on Facebook. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, live, local, and vocal, broadcasting live from beautiful Cincinnati, Ohio, and we'll be right back.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson. More than ever before, professional athletes are committed to serving as a catalyst for change. LeBron James has launched a multi-million-dollar voting initiative. Rookie Grant Williams created a mentorship program for Black and brown youth. Houston Rockets forward Robert Covington and former NBA star Luol Deng are looking to do their part by partnering with an inner-city-focused real estate fund to help revitalize neighborhoods in the south side of Chicago. Procter & Gamble's appointment of BET's Deborah Lee to its board was one of 13 additional seats held by women at S&P 500 companies last month. By the way, Deborah Lee's appointment also meant Procter & Gamble has a Black director again, which it hasn't had since former American Express CEO Ken Chenault left P&G's board in 2019. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
Hello, I'm Charlie Winburn with Renew Community Church. It seems like
this is Zoe Wesson. What side of history do you want to be on? The right side, or one where Black people continue to be underrepresented in Hamilton County? Now's your chance to end 230 years of exclusion. In Charlie Winburn, we have a man that's received the Cincinnati NAACP President's Award, who fought on the Ohio Civil Rights Commission for 6 years, who received the Baptist Ministers Conference Community Service Award. Charlie Winburn has received the Southern Christian Leadership Conference Award and was honored by WDBZ The Buzz as Pastor of the Month. We know Charlie Winburn, and he knows us. He's the right man to put us on the right side of history. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote for Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, November the 3rd, paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
You're listening to The Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
Hey, hope you're having a tremendous Tuesday. Welcome back. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show that focuses on the Black community. We were first. We planted our flag first, and I'm sure there's many more to follow after us. Hey, good morning to you. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, 513-873-7134. This is the Nathan Ivey Show. We just had the minister on the line. Hey, minister, call me right back. He said he is furious. Says he's furious. To this point, we've been talking about, and I've been playing for you the audio of a video that's gone viral of a Black mother in Elk Grove, California, that was defending her son doing should have been a routine traffic stop. I mean, do what you got to do, buddy. Move on. Keep it simple. Don't complicate things. You know what I'm saying? Make this easy. Help us help you, basically. Help us help you. That's all you got to do. Do your job, move on. Nobody expecting anything more, anything less. Let me go back to the chop shop. Tracy Rice, I want to talk about I'll get cooler. I just wait. Why does this man not believe in science? It'll get cooler. Just wait. Why does this man not believe in science? You talking about Donald Trump? Well, it's not just Donald Trump, man. You got a whole lot of climate change deniers out there. And what's happening in California, some people are saying that, it's because of climate change. And we deal with these kind of stories every single year. And I saw some images of Sacramento that seems like it was like the scene of a sci-fi movie. California ablaze, at least parts of it anyway. And the wildfires have been burning now. They're saying they're almost the size of Connecticut. And I think some of this is a natural occurrence. But let me give you my big picture view of climate change. My big picture view of climate change is that, I look at the earth as a living organism. I'm not saying that it's conscious. I'm just saying that in general, the earth is a living organism. It's a living organism. All right. Hey, caller, please hold on. I'll bring you straight on. And think about what your body does to things that might harm it. Like if your body comes in contact with viruses or things like that, what does your body do to try to deal with it? Well, it creates antibodies. It tries to kill whatever could harm the body, the whole body, right? I think the earth is doing that with humans. And I don't really think it's the first time. You know what I'm saying? I think the scientists are only guessing when they talk about the evolution of human history. I would not be surprised if we've been here before in the sense that, some type of human civilization has risen, has grown, and then been wiped off the face of the planet because of some kind of natural occurrence. I wouldn't be surprised with that. The scientists claim they know, the Bible scholars claim they know, but y'all don't really know. Y'all spitballing. Okay. So in that way, the earth is trying to get rid of us, pretty much. It's trying to get rid of us. That's how I look at it. It's trying to wipe the problem, right, away. And if we're not careful and we don't listen, that's exactly what's going to happen. I'll say it again. The biblical apocalypse will probably be man-manufactured. We're probably going to slip on a banana peel collectively and F up this good thing we got with the earth. That's probably what's going to happen. With the collective weight of the pollution, the desire for mankind that whenever we get any technological advances, what's the first thing somebody want to do? Weaponize it. Instead of using technology to uplift, to inspire, to expand the human consciousness and lifespan, these mofos run around here trying to make weapons. And so it'll probably be a mixture of one or two of the other, and we're going to mess up this Garden of Eden called Earth that God created for us. And when I look at these California wildfires, these things happen. But from a lot of the scientists that I see, what they say is that it's the culmination of man's inability to clean up after ourselves. God's little imperfect, self-indulgent, narcissism is at an all-time high right now. All-time high. Everybody's caught up with themselves. Right? And few people give a damn about this Garden of Eden. And that's just how I look at it. So we'll see what happens, y'all. But that's my take on it. That's my big picture take on it. That's my big picture take on it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to mess up the Garden of Eden called planet Earth. And then future man is going to have to try to get off the earth and run to Mars or some other ish. Or, we're going to do something that we're going to pass the tipping point and the polar ice tips are going to completely melt. There's going to be some dumb ish like that. We're going to do it to ourselves and people are going to be like, oh, God, please save me. And he's going to be like, I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you. So, and Trump is just one of these climate deniers, right? He's like a flat earther because that's the other thing that we do in this country is we politicize stuff that really shouldn't be politicized. The conversation about the climate shouldn't be politicized. The only reason why it's politicized is that the big time people that want to pollute our environment, they want to manufacture products and stuff and then take the toxic, waste and throw it into the river and all this kind of stuff. They got a lot of money and they influence the politicians, so it becomes a political issue. Clean air, clean water, clean environment really shouldn't be a political issue. We all on the same boat. You like to drink water, don't you? You like to breathe clean air, don't you? Democrats, Republicans, blacks, whites, Generation Z, Generation X, the civil rights generation, the hip hop generation, you like to drink clean water, don't you? But when you get money, capitalism involved, you got these big time companies that are like, you know what? I don't want to take care of my toxic byproducts. I just want to make money. Then they start interacting with the politicians. It becomes a big political issue. It really shouldn't be. But let's go to the phones. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show. Hey, hold on one second, brother. I know what it is.
Hey, Mr. Ivey.
Hey, good morning, brother. Sorry about that. That was on my end. Hey, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. This is your West Side Connection. Drop Squad 52 out here on the left coast, the burning coast, the People's Republic of California.
Yeah.
Mr. Ivey, I just listened to your take on the California wildfires, and you are almost spot on 100% when you speak about the accumulation of nature. Mr. Ivey, there's a phrase called clear cutting that is related to forest maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, out here in California, because of all their liberal environmental policies, clear cutting is not allowed. When dead trees happen, you're supposed to go in, clear it all out because of the risk of wildfires. Now, the last major wildfire that happened in this country, Mr. Ivey, it was caused by the power company in conjunction with the lack of forest maintenance in the state of California. Because if you look at other states that have forests, they don't have wildfires like we have out here in California, Mr. Ivey. It's ridiculous. I've been living in California since 1980. Almost every single year, Mr. Ivey, there has been a wildfire. Sometimes major ones like the one a couple of years ago, and then this one right here, because it's so much debris in the forest that because of government California regulations, they're not allowed to clear it all out. And that's why these fires just rage out of control. But the areas that it happened is mostly 1% rich people that live up there that are able to afford the property and afford to build homes on those properties. So these people know when they move there, they already know the threat, but because of California and how beautiful it is for 12 months out of the year, but for the 2 months of September and October, it's really bad for wildfires. And then on top of that, because if you do have a major wildfire, when the rainy season starts, which is our winter, you get landslides or mudslides from the burnt out forest areas, and the foliage is not there to sustain the water. But Mr. Ivey, that's not why I call. Why I call? I don't know. I got tongue tied today. Maybe because it's so early.
Well, I mean, real quick, Drop, since you brought it up though, man, and you are in California, so
yes,
on the surface you would have a lot more insight because it's closer to you than I would. But I mean, what role do you think the climate change plays in the wildfires that we're seeing?
Well, it really doesn't, because like I said, you got California, you got Nevada, you have Arizona, and those southern states have the same temperatures pretty much. Arizona, obviously, more. So the climate really is not the reason. What they're saying is because of the temperatures are so high that this forestry that they don't clean up dries out. And if there's a spark, a cigarette butt, or a faulty power company line that falls and catches the forest on fire, that's why they're jumping to the conclusion that it's caused by climate. But it doesn't make sense, Mr. Ivey, when you have other states in the same region that do not have wildfires like we have here in California.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
like I said,
everything I'm reading, man, the first thing that comes up is climate change I mean, they say there's multiple reasons. Like you talked about clear cutting. That might be one of the factors. But a lot of the research I keep coming back from or getting back from is that a drier climate is most certainly having an impact. But You know,
But that has
maybe I'll
nothing
reach
do
out to
with
an expert, several experts, and get their viewpoint on it.
But it depends on which political angle they have, Mr. Ivey, because you can find experts on both sides of the political spectrum.
Yeah, I just want an expert that's an expert on the issue. I mean, the political angle doesn't really matter. To me, there is no political angle when it comes to clean water, clean air, and wildfires. The science is what it is. I mean, if you look at the periodic table, the periodic table isn't Democrat or Republican. It is what it is. It's facts.
Mr. Ivey, these fires have been burning for almost 3 weeks now, almost 3 weeks. And all of a sudden it becomes a political talking point for sleepy Joe Biden, talking about the suburbs going to burn down if President Trump is reelected, talking about cities going to flood if President Trump is reelected, because he called him a climate arsonist, whatever that is. I have no idea. But Joe Biden is a mess. And he is politicizing this because he's losing. The man was out in the woods somewhere, Mr. Ivey, talking to the press, bugs flying all around him. He reading off a teleprompter, eyes all squinting. And it's laughable.
It is
how he's using these fires for political purposes. Now, if you remember,
so
Mr.
what is
Ivey,
Trump doing about the fires?
Ago, what's that?
I said, you're in California. What is Trump doing from a federal level to address it?
Mr. Ivey, these are states' rights. When Trump tried to bring the federal government in here to scoop up illegal aliens, California was, leave us alone. We can run our state the way we want to run our state. But yesterday, at the press conference that the president held with the governor, Gavin Newsom, they was buddy. He was sucking up big time. Because he knows he needs those federal dollars. And Mr. Ivey, I'm not saying this is the agenda of the liberal politicians here in California as a way to address their wildfire issues, is to let it burn and then get the federal dollars. Mm-hmm. Because Mr. Ivey, that's just the MO. That's the way it's always happened. Trump came out to California a couple of years ago when we had the Post fire. I think that was the one that was caused by the power company.
So the answer sounds like nothing.
And said that was caused by climate change. But see, Mr. Ivey, the lamestream media is not going to report news in certain ways if it doesn't benefit the Democrat Party. Because California is a
where they do that at?
What do you mean where I hear that at?
I said where they do that at. You said the lamestream, the media is not going to report news unless it benefits the Democrat Party. What channel? I'm sure there are those channels, but where they do that at? What channel?
Okay, Mr. Ivey, do you remember the last big?
And you never answered the question, by the way.
What?
I asked you, what is Trump doing to address the issue?
I just told you where they do it. They do it on the national news. They do it on MSNBC. They do it on NBC. They do it on ABC and CBS. When the San Diego Gas and Electric Company lost the lawsuit I think it was the Post fire that burnt an entire town down, it was because the power company failed to clear the areas where their power lines were, and there was a malfunction in the power line, and the whole city burnt down. It was a case in the news. It was not national news, Mr. Ivey. It was local news. And I'm telling you, the country heard about the fires and heard that it was because of climate change and Donald Trump the climate denier. But then when the case was settled and they found out that the fires were because of the power company, there was no national news exonerating anybody, saying that we're sorry for saying that this was because of climate change. It was because of a failed power company. So again, Mr. Ivey, just Google it. It's out there. You don't want, I know you want the truth. And I know somebody's out there verifying that the last big, huge forest fire was caused by a power company. Now, this one obviously is different because it's multiple fires everywhere, Mr. Ivey. Right. All the way up the coast.
So do you think that climate change plays a role at all? Did I ask you that already? Because the president says the president comes across as a climate change denier. His quote was, I don't think that science knows what's going on at all. And that's not necessarily true.
I can understand that comment.
You can understand that
Because
comment,
Mr.
huh?
Ivey, yes, Mr. Ivey, I'll be 60 years old in a couple of weeks. The first time that climate change became a political issue, back then they called it global warming. It was in the 70s. Okay, Mr. Ivey, look up Time magazine. It was in the 70s, and they even had it was the Ice Age. It was always something related to the environment because that was one of the agenda items for the Democrat Party beginning in the late 70s and all throughout the 80s. Because you remember Jimmy Carter in the 80s. I mean, in the 70s with the gas lines and the high gas prices and the rationing, all that happened under Jimmy Carter, and that's when the Democrats adopted the climate agenda. But again, all I'm saying, Mr. Ivey, it's political. It is political at this point.
Yeah, it's political because
those people
the donor class,
suffer.
these big businesses get involved. They want to make money. They want to make money. And so they interact with the politician class to try to make it a political issue when it really should be an issue of science. And that's it. Science is about facts. It is what it is. It's the politicians.
Yes, it is what it is.
It's the politicians and these politically motivated media companies that make it more difficult and complicated than what it really is, in my opinion. But I disagree with you. I believe that climate change is a real thing. I think that human beings are having an impact on the climate. And unfortunately, when you got a president like Donald Trump, who denies things that don't benefit him, it can be a problem. We saw that with COVID-19.
Well, that's true. Now, if you would give me one more minute,
sure.
Since you brought up Donald Trump and his denial.
Yeah.
Well, the Democrat Party is in denial because the latest Real Clear Politics average of polls for Donald Trump's approval rating is 45.1, Mr. Ivey.
Right.
Okay, 45.1. His approval rating is going up, not going down.
He hasn't even hit 50 yet, though. You do know that Donald Trump is the most unpopular president ever, like in modern history.
Mr. Ivey, he didn't win the popular vote last time in 2016. I'm just saying
statistically, he's the most unpopular president ever. He's never even hit 50% approval rate. Never.
What?
He's never hit 50% approval rating throughout his 4 years. It'll be 4 years at the end of this year. He's the most unpopular president and still remains the most unpopular president ever.
Duh,
I mean, that's true.
Mr. Ivey, no Republican, not Donald Trump, not George Bush, not Daddy Bush, won the popular vote. The Democrats win the popular vote
I'm talking about the polls.
California and New York.
No, I'm talking about the polls once they become president. That's what I'm talking about. He's very unpopular. We'll see. So you're saying that the polls say that Donald Trump is gaining or something like that?
Okay, let me read you 3 headlines. Okay, I'm just going to read you 3 headlines and then I'm going to get off the phone. Okay, the Washington Post headline, Biden's troubles with Black and Latino voters are overstated. 3 days ago. Al Jazeera, 6 days ago. Polls show Biden lagging among Latinos and African Americans. Politico, 1 week ago. Biden lags among Florida Hispanic voters. And the last headline, Bloomberg commits $100 million in Florida to support Joe Biden and the Democrats.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Ivey.
There's a contradiction between the first headline and the other 3, but okay.
Okay. Again, sir, the fact that you see Sleepy Joe Biden out in a field with bugs flying all around him, who's running his campaign, Mr. Ivey? And Donald Trump is holding rallies. The one he held yesterday in Nevada, it was inside. Okay. So again, that is 5. He's had 5 campaign rally events in 6 days. And what does Joe Biden do? He goes out into a field amongst bugs and beetles, and he gives a speech about Donald Trump is a climate arsonist, and the suburbs gonna burn down, and the suburbs gonna flood. Why is he using the word suburbs? I wonder. Does it have anything to do with law and order? So, Mr. Ivey, again.
Isn't that where the wildfires were?
Democrat Mr. Ivey, you didn't even see his speech. Nobody
I didn't, but I'm saying, isn't that where the wildfires are happening in the suburbs? That's why I use the word suburbs.
No, I just told you, Mr. Ivey, they're happening in these mountain ridgy countries. I mean, communities where rich people live. They're not
Suburbs.
happening in urban settings.
Yeah, that's why we said suburbs, right?
Suburbs are in urban. They're boundaries of the urban setting. They ain't out in the woods.
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, you in California, you would know better than I. Okay. All right.
It's like the suburbs, like where Mason Mahler lives. That would be considered a suburb of Cincinnati.
Right.
So that's where. So again, Mr. Ivey, maybe Mason Mahler can explain some of these headlines. But with what 50-something days to go, Donald Trump is at 45. Bloomberg needs to commit $100 million, and there's headlines saying Biden is having problems with Latinos and African Americans. Looks like trouble. Looks like trouble. Drop 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch. Where you at, Nathan? Kev on the sale. Say his name.
He is wild. Hey, thanks for the call. He is a wild boy. Something looks like trouble. He is hilarious. We'll see. We'll see. 513-873-7134. We shall see together, my friends. We'll find out. I'm looking forward to this first debate, quite honestly. Because, how is Joe Biden going to prepare for this? I read that Donald Trump is doing no pre-prep whatsoever. I'm sure he's prepping in his own way, but he's not doing mock debates. He's just going to go in there and do what he did to Hillary. And if you're debating someone, it's almost like Donald Trump versus Mueller. More information is coming out about the Mueller investigation. Everybody had all these high hopes. I told the family, don't put any stock in Mueller whatsoever, because from what I read, Mueller was like a straight-laced, by-the-book guy who cares about the institutions and cares about, the honor and prestige. And Trump will burn all that he'll burn the whole institution to the ground if it benefits, what he's trying to do. And when you're dealing with somebody, it's the same thing in any case. When you're dealing with somebody who's willing to go further than you, they're always going to win. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Facebook or social media. When you're going back and forth with somebody who's willing to say and do anything, they always going to get the upper hand because they're willing to do things that you're not willing to do. Same thing with Trump and Mueller. Mueller had no chance against Trump because Trump don't give a damn. He's willing to do whatever it has to do. If he had to burn down the Department of Justice and fire everybody, literally, then he would do that. Think about what he did. Trump was willing to put the reputation of the FBI on the line. See, I'll never understand this. Trump was willing to go after and attack the credibility of the men and women of the FBI, which is law enforcement, if that suits his purposes in the moment. In that moment, the purpose was to try to, get away from the Russia investigation. And he did it. He was pointing fingers, you can't trust the FBI. Then he'll turn right around and talk about how he cares about law enforcement. It's whatever suits him in the moment. When it suits his purpose to embrace law enforcement on a local level, he'll do it. When it suits his purposes to discredit law enforcement on the federal level, he'll do it. So if you're Joe Biden, how do you prepare for a debate with a man who stand on stage and lie? How do you prepare for that? How do you prepare to debate a man who's willing to lie about his record, lie about the impact of COVID? How do you prepare for that? That's going to be a very difficult debate. When you're dealing with somebody who is going to be by the book, right? They're going to talk about the facts and talk about their record. They're going to tell the truth. I don't lie, golly. But you come in and you're willing to do whatever it takes, lie, cheat, steal, y'all always going to win. You're always going to win. So that first debate is going to be very interesting. That's kind of like what Hillary got into. If you go back and look at some of those debates, and I have most recently, she was willing to jab a little bit, but Trump's a jabber. He'll get ad hominem in a second. He's looking for a punchline, right? He's looking for a punchline. He's looking for a response from the crowd. And the crowd is just like the Parthenon, right? They want to see blood. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? The screaming masses just want a good show. When Trump gets up there, man, a lot of people are not going to judge the debate on whether he told the truth or not. they're going to judge the debate on who got the loudest response and who got in a zinger and who got in a good punch and who got the best one-liners. So I don't know how Biden is preparing for this, but I can see how it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge because no matter what Biden says, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. They're going to have to really, really, really do their research on Trump to understand who he is as a man, and in particular to pick up on his tendencies. You know what I'm saying? They need to figure out what's important to Trump and hit him there. That's how you beat Trump in a public debate. You know what I'm saying? You have to be ready to publicly discredit him by any means. And talking about COVID ain't going to get it. Because all he's going to say is, he's going to say the same thing he's been saying. Oh, man, if I didn't do this, then more people would have died. Where do you go with that when you're Joe Biden? To the facts? The facts only have so much leg to it. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me go back to the phones here and say good morning and welcome to the show. Hey, good morning, caller. Welcome.
What's up, Nate? It's the minister.
Hey, what's up, minister? Welcome. Welcome.
I am furious. I am furious of these police officers, again, harassing black people. I'm furious. It really does disgust me on the woman even said his own. Now I don't understand why the officer got his hand on the gun. For what? Like he's a threat. In the picture, he do like a big boy, but at the same time, you don't need to call for backup. If she owned that property, she said we can go back in. You can give them the ticket, and they had paid the ticket and move on. But instead, you got these officers that want to. Oh man, you know, I'm just so scared. And I bet that I don't understand this. Did that police officer know that they lived there? She owned that property. Did they know that?
Well, she probably knew it when they walked outside and told them that they owned it. Other than that, probably not.
And do he work in the community? Do we work in that community?
I don't have that information. You talking about the young man involved? I don't have the information.
Because I was wondering that police officers, I mean, some police officers, if it's like a small community or something like that, then they know, oh, he owns that. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But if he's a new driver that just got his license, give him a warning. I mean, his mama even right there. I mean, I don't understand. When I was hearing your show, I heard it on loudspeaker. I was in Louisiana. I'm coming out of a gas station. It's this white dude, and it was a security guard he was smoking a cigarette. He like police, and I guess the white dude saying that, who you looking at, police officer? Saying that to the police officer. I don't know if he was high or drunk in his truck. He said, I can see you right now. I got a gun on me. He said that.
Really?
He said that. I'm coming out with my drink. And I called the Coca-Cola man. I was like, the dude he was putting in Coca-Cola. He said, yeah, in Jennings, Louisiana. And he said, I got my gun on me right now. And the white officer, and he was like a skinny white officer, you know what I mean? He was just smoking a cigarette. And he said, what are you looking at? The dude said that. But if it was a black person, we call him if it's a black person, they call him for backup instant. I was like, you know what? If that was me in that instant, he would have already had his hand on the trigger. The officer said, he said, I don't want to say it because I got to worry about the kids. But he said, get your B in the car. That's what the officer said. And then the white male, he gonna say, for what? I don't need to get in the car. You sat there and looked at me.
And you saying this just happened?
You know what I mean? Cussing us. This just happened. Just happened. In Jennings, Louisiana. It's terrible. I was like, if this was a black, The officer he did not call for backup or nothing.
Right.
But if it was a black person, all the Jennings police, Louisiana police would have been there, showed up. Only thing his response, get back in the car, in the car, and dude left. But he threatened him. But the thing is, he just threatened him with a gun. Said, I got a gun. I got a gun in the car. I got a gun on me right now. Come on, man. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand it. And the thing is that, and I always say this. I even say this to young kids. Like, you know, it was some people be saying that, some white people be saying that, not saying a racial thing, Nate, but as a black man, get pulled over, I'm scared. I'm scared because I don't know what this officer intentions is. I don't know. I don't know. And I told one of my friends, I said, if you're a white guy, you would be way more, oh, okay, you know, he's going to give me a ticket. No, with me, I get pulled over. It's a whole different ballgame. But in this instance, is that, like I said, it's the racist is real. And these police officers, like you said, these Trump supporters is getting out of hand. Drop is, I don't understand. Drop you. Drop. I'm just furious. You a black man. I get that and everything. I get that you're 60 years old, but I don't understand what has he done for the black community. After I've been visiting all these states, I've been seeing a lot of Trump supporters and stuff like that. Even truck drivers that have the Trump hats and the flags on their trucks and stuff.
Uh-huh.
He haven't done anything. This man haven't done anything. I mean, even the military. Do he support the military? I mean, drop you in the military. Do he support the military? Because y'all, I'm getting this, that I heard that the military is getting paid low, even if you have the coronavirus. I mean, I know you're a veteran. Shout out to the veterans. But I don't claim this man one bit. We need to get to the polls. Like I said, when the polls hit, I'm taking off work. Tell me, hey, drive me back to Cincinnati. I'm going to the polls. We need even as young people. I'm 28 years old. Even as young people, we need to go out and vote. Forget all this rap and stuff and I don't want to vote. No, forget this. We need to get out here and get to the polls and get ready to go. Shout out to my boy Mason Mauer. That's my boy. All right, Nate, I'm out.
Hey, appreciate you, man. That's the minister. Appreciate you. On the road. Mr. Wifey. Hello, Wifey. Good morning. Appreciate it. Hooking me up with some nice. This is organic tea, right? Some organic tea. Yeah, even organic tea, because if you do your research, some of the places that this tea comes from, just get yourself some organic tea. Keep the pesticides out of it. Good morning. It's a minister. He said, somebody going to drive me back to Cincinnati so I can vote. I appreciate it, man. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. If you feel inclined to do so, if you happy with the status quo, cool. I mean, I don't want to shout you down. I don't even want to argue with you. If that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. I'm more concerned with the people that might be on the fence and they're going to vote and maybe they're a little bit unsure. These undecided voters. Are there any, raise your hand. Is there anyone out there that's an undecided voter? Like you plan on voting, but it's like, I don't really know which way I'm going to go. And nobody's talking about third party candidates. That's the real issue. What we need is a rise of some other parties to challenge the Democrats and Republicans. I'll say it again. The Democrats and Republicans appear on the surface to not have a lot in common, but they most certainly agree with locking out third party candidates that might give them the ability to rise and challenge the first two parties, or the two major parties, should I say. See, yeah, that's right. That's right. TNT writes, they want to be treated with dignity and respect, preserve our lives like you would your own or someone that looks like you. I agree. Greg writes, yes, do your job without assuming that black equals criminal. Unfortunately, some cops bring the media-infused images to their jobs. And I don't think it's just the media-infused images. It's like the reality of their everyday. Black communities are over-policed, over-scrutinized, over-surveilled. Sarah writes, good morning, family. Hey, good morning to you. Dill writes, in their feelings because two of their own were shot. But that's not an excuse. So unprofessional. The Blue Lives Matter flag on her face was telling. Is she a Blue Lives? Is that a Blue Lives Matter flag? Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. I mean, I get it. If I was an officer, I'd be Blue Lives Matter rocking flags too because I'm protecting me. I get it. I'm not against Blue Lives Matter. I'm not against it whatsoever. In as much as that means, officers coming home safety to their families and things like that, I'm down with it. I'm against Blue Lives Matter when I hear people using it as a counter argument to Black Lives Matter or, efforts to reform the police. When people say Blue Lives Matter as if black people don't care about the lives of police officers, that's when I have a problem with it. And there's people out there to try to make it that way. Into the chop shop. Let me go. Miss D writes, oh, snap, we back. Greetings. Yes, you are. Tanika writes, I would have went there for my baby as well. That's her job to protect her child, 100%. Oh, hell, Beckham Jr., and I think he was trying to call back, oh, hell, Beckham Jr. He writes, I wouldn't have told the cop I'm leaving. That wasn't wise. But other than that, mom was on point. Okay, I think we got oh, hell, Beckham Jr. on the line right now. Let's go to the phones. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Nathan. How are you doing today?
Hey, what's up, oh, hell, Beckham Jr.? I'm doing great.
All's great around this side. I just want to talk about that video with the mom, protecting her son from the police, as it's titled. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Sure. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. As you know, two things can be true at the same time. I'm not mad at the mom. I mean, I don't want to say she did the right thing, but I'll accept what she did. However, that wasn't exactly the smartest thing to do. Let's not get in the habit of accosting police. She got lucky. When you talk about what the cop is doing in these days and times, it ain't wise to accost police. Being loud and added. I don't know who that is calling. Pardon me. But I mean, instead of talking to the police, talk to your son. Hey, son, just relax, be still. Mama's here. I'm recording everything. Everything's gonna be all right. Just chill. Mama's here with you. Mm-hmm. You going at the cop like that. Now the cop used those code words, those buzzwords. What you say? I feel threatened. I feel for my life or something like that. Didn't they say something like that to the woman, to the mom?
The cop said that you're being verbally aggressive.
Right, aggressive. That's one of those buzzwords. Now it's going to escalate. There's an escalation from there. And that the cop was keeping track of. I just don't think that was very wise. I get the mama bear thing. Trust me, I get it. But babe, you ain't a bear. You're a human being. And in the cop's eyes, if we're being honest, you're a gorilla. And we know gorillas can't take shots. Ask Harambe. You understand? It just wasn't wise to do. That, and let's be honest. We don't like stereotypes because there's a hint of truth to them. I thought mom was a little irascible. Chill a little bit. She would have been better off talking to her son. Now, she walked away unscathed, I assume, but the next person might not. You see what I'm saying? Okay, maybe you don't. But
no,
listen.
I hear you. I hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just don't. I would have been talking to the cop. I'm sorry. I would have been talking to my son more so than the cop.
Yeah, but her issue was with the cop. The cop had her son's identification and registration. She was telling the officer, go ahead and process him. If not, why are we standing out here? I'll go in the house.
You don't get to see. That's what I'm saying. You don't get to determine when the interaction's over with the cops.
True.
Talk to your son. Keep him calm. Just make sure he's straight. You know, like I said, the cop was, you know, the thing that saved them is that cop has a conscience. Because they knew they didn't have to bother them. Because they knew they were wrong in the first place and didn't have to bother them. That cop, one of these psycho sickos, as you like to say, out here without a conscience, he'd have popped both of them. And said, I felt threatened. The mom, you know, escalated the situation, coming out being aggressive. You know, demonstrating her hands and whatnot. That's all I'm saying. I don't have a problem with what she did, but I just kind of feel like she was lucky.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that type of interaction should not be celebrated. Do not accost cops. It's not wise. That's all I got, B. I'll holler at you some other time.
Hey, that's all I need. That's all I need. Frame says, he says, listen, he understands the mama bear thing, but he feels like she should have been focusing more on her son and not the police. You're right. When you're dealing with the police, you don't get a chance to decide when it's over. He's right about that. They decide when it's over. Would it have been smarter? So picking up on what he said, would it have been smarter? What's the smarter course of action? Same scenario. You focus on your son. Son, stay cool. The mom is trying to get to a result. She's trying to push the end of it. Hey, go do this so we can go back inside. But you don't get a chance to determine that. And that's what the officer was trying to show her. Like, no, I'm in control here. Even though you getting loud and we inside on your property, I'm in control of this. I don't know. There's some truth in that. I can't say the brother's 100% wrong. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. I want to move on. You can feel free to talk about anything we talk about today. But I want to move on, and I want to talk about a few other things. You've only got me up until 10 a.m. this morning. And again, we're starting at 7:30 a.m. all week. 7:30 a.m. all week. We won't go to 10 a.m. every single day, but 7:30 a.m. all week long. I want to talk about Andrew Gillum. Andrew Gillum is a brother who ran for governor in Florida, and he barely won. It was like less than 1% of the vote. He barely won against a damn Trumpster. This goes to show you what's up in Florida down there. And, early this year, there was some images that came out of him. He was in a hotel room, what appeared to be some male gigolos. And there was an image of him passed out with vomit coming out of his mouth. It was the most unflattering image that any man could ever be in. And you in a room with male gigolos. Do y'all remember the Andrew Gillum hotel photos? You remember the images of the room? It was just some, I don't know what the hell was going on. I don't know what the hell they was doing in there. I don't know what he was doing. I don't even want to know what they was doing in there. I got several images I'm going to put on the screen here, okay? Including a side-by-side of Andrew Gillum and the man that he was in the room with. Okay? So get ready. That's not the image. So get ready. Let me pull this up real quick. And Andrew Gillum is a black man married to a black female. He's married. He ran as a black married man. You know what I'm saying? Here's the image. That was Andrew Gillum, and that was one of the male gigolos that he was in the room with. And the images of what went down in that room, man, was just, it was like, I don't know what happened, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was pill bottles. And Andrew Gillum, a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, he did a Instagram video where he came out. Here it is right here. He did an Instagram video where he came out talking about he was just so in his feelings after he lost, and he had so many expectations. And then after he lost, it just sent him into a depression, and he didn't know what to do. And I'm thinking, that explains why you was with a male gigolo, passed out in your own vomit. Check out this image. Remember this? Not a good image, brother. Not a good image. And he sold himself as this happily married black man, married to this sister, who's going to be this progressive governor. You know, after he lost, again, by less than 1%, so it was a very, very close race, he started like, I don't know, a political action committee or something like that, some kind of organization to rally voters in Florida, maybe vis-a-vis what we saw from Stacey Abrams, something like that. And then those images came out, and it was like, oh boy, what in the hell? Or Andrew Gillum, and this is a really good get. You know, if you're in the world of like of media entertainment, he sat down and did his first interview, and in that interview, he sat down with Tamron Hall. Right, this is a good get. If you're Tamron Hall, this is why you in the biz. You want to get interviews like this, right? Tamron Hall. I know everybody was like, "Shh, I wish we had that interview." I would have loved for Andrew Gillum to break that on the Nathan Ivey Show. That would be great. But Andrew Gillum sat down and admitted that he is, in fact, not a straight man. He does not identify as heterosexual. Okay? Are you surprised to hear that? Probably not after all the stuff came out about him. No, you ain't surprised to hear it now. But if he had told us that during the election, it probably would have surprised some people. Not to say that people wouldn't have voted for him per se. Hold on one second. But, he just didn't sell himself like that. He didn't tell people that's what he was into. Would it have made a difference with some voters? Sure it would have. Would people still have voted for him if he just said, I'm an openly, not heterosexual man? Yeah, he would have got some votes. He definitely would have got some votes. But in his interview with Tamron Hall, let me play the audio for you. Well, I don't want to spoil it. Let's hear from, he could say it for himself. In his interview with Tamron Hall, he comes out as a bisexual man. He says, I don't identify as being gay, homosexual. I'm bisexual. Are you surprised to hear that? And we would have been surprised to hear that if not for the fact that we saw these images of him. I mean, what straight man is in a hotel room with drugs and a male gigolo? I don't care how depressed you are. You don't switch up your sexuality because you're depressed. The hell? So he admitted, he came out and said, look, I just believe that love and sexuality exists on the spectrum. All I care about is what's between us and what agreement that we make. That was his wife. So it's like his wife already knew that he was bisexual, and they must have came to some agreement. That's a hell of an agreement. But I guess, there are probably men who are married to women who identify as bisexual, and perhaps they get some sexual pleasure out of it, and they're well aware that their wives interact with other women, and these women might identify as bisexual. Is it any different when we're talking about a man? Are you surprised to hear this? Does it matter? Like, some people were looking at Andrew Gillum like he might be a next. Number one, he was being at least talked about in the media as a vice presidential candidate to Joe Biden. That didn't happen. There have been openly, not heterosexual people that run for public office and win public office. So I don't think it would have held them back per se, but let me play this for you. You can hear it for yourself. You got to hear this.
Very honest with you, when you didn't ask the question, you put it out there, is whether or not I identify as gay. And the answer is I don't identify as gay, but I do identify as bisexual. And that is something that I have never shared publicly before.
So, again, after what we saw in that hotel room, nobody's surprised by this, Andrew. It's a little bit late now. It's like he almost has to come out and say this so he can sort of like save his image. That explains why you was in here butt naked with vomit out your mouth with a male gigolo. Again, As soon as we saw that, we already knew what the story was. I ain't surprised about none of this. People knew he was bisexual. People in the chop shop was like, you know what, his wife probably already knows. I mean, again, I'm not here to judge them. If that's how they want to live their life, if it's good for them, cool. Cool. Do you. Do you. Does that change your opinion of Andrew Gillum? Or did the image of him laying in his own vomit? And what the hell was that substance on the bed? I don't even want to show that image. I don't want to see that. No. I don't know what they was doing in there, but that was between them. And we'll leave it just like that. We'll leave it just like that. We'll let him have his privacy on that one. All right? We'll let them do whatever the hell he wants to do. Again, sounds like him and his wife is right there with him. Like, hey, I already knew, boo. Cool. Cool. Let me talk about CPS. How many people stayed up late night till like 10 p.m. last night? Watching on that, is not Zoom, what is it called? SquarePants or something like that? Something. Blue Jeans or something like that? But Cincinnati Public School Board of Education approved non-contact sports starting within the district this week. And contact sports like football can begin next week. So all you athletic parents can stop sending them emails and comments and threats. A decision on spectators at sporting events will be forthcoming. Academically, everything stays the same as it was for at least another week. The board reached a consensus to get to a blended learning option as soon as data allows it. The board is going to meet again on September 21st to discuss what Labor Day's COVID-19 numbers look like. So there it is. That's the latest. They're going to open up the doors perhaps next week for contact sports. If you want to go actually watch it as a spectator, there is a decision going to be made forthcoming. In terms of academics, everything remains the same as CPS looks at the data to make it a future determination. There are three possibilities on the table, right? Continue online learning. Move to a hybrid plan, meaning that 2 or 3 days of the week you'll be in school, and then the other days of the week you'll be at home, and then the flip-flops. Or go back to full-time in-class learning. My spider sense tells me that the first step will be hybrid learning. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. I don't have any insights. I haven't talked to anybody at CPS, but logically speaking, it just makes sense they would move to hybrid first. Look at the numbers, look at the impact, and then move to full-time in-class learning. It just makes sense. Okay? Quote, these kids deserve to play. I agree with you. My son deserves to be in a school environment where he can be in front of the teacher and actually learn that way. That's what they deserve. That's what's best for them, many of them. So we'll see. Here's a quote from the Cincinnati Federation of Teachers. Quote, it's important that they're looking and thinking about all aspects before any decisions are made. I don't think it will improve the educational options to go back part-time. Again, it just makes sense. It makes sense that since we're taking this time, we take baby steps, start with the hybrid, try it out for a week or 2 or 3 or whatever. If that works, we open it up. If you do it that way, nobody can criticize you. If you go back to straight full-time learning first, and there's spikes in COVID-19 related infections, the first question is going to be, why didn't you take baby steps? Why didn't you do hybrid learning first? That's what people are going to say. If we're already doing virtual learning, 100%, if CPS makes a decision to go to like a hybrid where it's like 50-50, that's going to be, you know, I won't say it'll be a relief per se, but I think it'll be looked upon very favorably by a lot of people. If you jump over that and go straight back into full-time, you open yourself up for critiques and criticism. And the most obvious criticism will be, why didn't you do hybrid first? Just makes sense. Think about it. All right, family, I got to make a quick break. and then we'll come right back. This is the Nathan Ivey Show, live, local, and vocal. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, you've got my number. You can see it there at the bottom screen. Stay tight. Don't go anywhere. I'll read your comments, questions on the other side, plus taking your phone calls at 513-873-7134. If you support independent Black media, if you like the content that I am producing and creating, please give me a like and share this morning, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson. More than ever before, professional athletes are committed to serving as a catalyst for change. LeBron James has launched a multi-million-dollar voting initiative. Rookie Grant Williams created a mentorship program for Black and brown youth. Houston Rockets forward Robert Covington and former NBA star Luol Deng are looking to do their part by partnering with an inner-city-focused real estate fund to help revitalize neighborhoods in the south side of Chicago. Procter & Gamble's appointment of BET's Deborah Lee to its board was one of 13 additional seats held by women at S&P 500 companies last month. By the way, Deborah Lee's appointment also meant Procter & Gamble has a Black director again, which it hasn't had since former American Express CEO Ken Chenault left P&G's board in 2019. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
This is Zoe Wesson. There are a few times in life to make history. Hamilton County was founded 230 years ago, but has never elected a Black county treasurer. It's time for change. Elect a proven, trusted, experienced candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, Charlie Winburn. We know Charlie, and he knows us. Charlie Winburn was the former chairman of the Jobs and Growth Committee on Cincinnati City Council under the Honorable Democrat Mayor Mark Mallory. Winburn led the fight to keep 2,000 U.S. postal jobs in Cincinnati. He also fought for wage increases for thousands of city employees, especially our sanitation workers. Charlie Winburn will safeguard more than $1.4 billion in real estate taxes and will increase new home ownership and new jobs. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. Let's make history together.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote, paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
This is Zoe Wesson. What side of history do you want to be on? The right side, or one where Black people continue to be underrepresented in Hamilton County? Now's your chance to end 230 years of exclusion. In Charlie Winburn, we have a man that's received the Cincinnati NAACP President's Award, who fought on the Ohio Civil Rights Commission for 6 years, who received the Baptist Ministers Conference Community Service Award. Charlie Winburn has received the Southern Christian Leadership Conference Award and was honored by WDBZ The Buzz as Pastor of the Month. We know Charlie Winburn, and he knows us. He's the right man to put us on the right side of history. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote for Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, November the 3rd, paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
I think it would help if I turn my microphone on. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nate Ivey with you. I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. The Nathan Ivey Show, Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show that focuses on the Black community. Of course, brought to you by the smart folks at Sin Digital Media. Check out some of the other podcasts. The Is It Just Me podcast with Donnie B, the Dope Chicks Collective, Truth to Power podcast. We got a Facebook page up. Much more to follow. Many more podcasts. Again, I'm all about amplifying Black voices And after working several years in corporate radio, I am 100% on the grind to build independent Black media in this city and beyond. There is a difference. There is a big difference. I've been there. I've done it. Trust me when I tell you there's a huge difference. And there's a big difference between, having Black ownership that's actually in the city that it's actually producing content for, as opposed to being thousands of miles away. I'm sure they care, but it ain't the same. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Much more to follow. New shows will be rolling out within the next few weeks. I'm interested in people who are already doing shows, but I'm also interested in creating new media as well. Brand new ideas that we can bring to life and amplify that speak to what's going on in terms of the Black experience and Black people in this city in particular and beyond. Hold on a second. I'm getting a text message here from a very trusted source. City of Louisville agrees to substantial settlement in the Breonna Taylor shooting. Louisville's metro government is expected to announce a substantial financial settlement on Tuesday with the family of Breonna Taylor. It's interesting. That's a 26-year-old black woman fatally shot by police in her apartment 6 months ago. And it looks like the settlement is going to be announced at about 2 p.m. today. So my son is in digital learning right now, and my wife and I are tag teaming as partners should do to make sure that we can and professional responsibilities and also our live today, because I think that's big news. Everybody's watching that. So don't be surprised to see me going live from the Nathan Ivey Show Facebook page. Again, please like and share today's show. If you like my content, then please like and share today's show. And again, listen, bless all those people that, enjoy my content and say good things about the show. I was looking back over to some of the comments from yesterday's show, and a lot of people saying really good things. I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed the show here. I enjoy doing it for several reasons. And somebody's like, Nate, we got to get you back at the old station. It's just not the same. And I keep telling people this. I thank you so much. The fact that anybody would even say anything about my show or whatever means a whole lot. But if you want to really support Nate, support what I'm doing now. I've got my eyes on the future, not going backwards. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of good friends at the radio station I still connect with, and I wish everybody the best. I'm glad you got multiple platforms, but Nate's on some new-ish. You know what I'm saying? I'm on some build your own type-ish, and there's nothing better than that. There's nothing better than building your own and doing your own thing. You know what I'm saying? So one way you can support me is just by sharing this show on a daily basis with your friends. The other way you support me is by viewing it. Make sure you're a subscriber on all levels, on all channels. If you want to get a little bit more intimate in terms of being a financial supporter, you can go to my Patreon page. Just go to nathanivey.com. At the very top, you'll see several tabs. One reads support. You can make a one-time donation or a monthly donation to support and build what I'm doing now. I'm 100% about the future. What I did in the past was great. I'm so happy and blessed to have had those experiences. And again, I have a lot of good friends and connections to this very day. But that's that old-ish. I'm onto some new-ish, you know what I'm saying? And please support me in that endeavor. But I take it the way I think people mean it. People mean it in a really good way. You know what I'm saying? And I don't deny that. But Nate is great. And it rhymes. Nate is great. The future looks bright. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Every single day. So please support Sin Digital Media. One way of supporting me is supporting the podcast that we're producing and the folks I'm working with and the new podcast that we'll be unveiling really soon. That's the best way to support me. Am I open to conversations? I'll talk with almost anybody. I've had many conversations with folks who are in the same space or want to be in the same space or, thinking about things like that. I mean, as an entrepreneur, you should entertain those conversations. But I am 100% focused on building digital media and amplifying Black voices in this city and beyond. 100% laser focus. That is my focus today. All right. But again, to all those well-wishers, I know you mean the best, and I really appreciate you even give a damn about Lil Nate in this show. I appreciate it. But enough of me. Let's go back to the phones and say good morning and welcome to the show.
What's going on, Nate? How you doing, man?
I'm
you hear
doing
me?
great. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm
Great.
on my mic. I'm actually at work, but I'm taking a little break for the Nathan Ivey Show.
I appreciate
and just
it.
going back to what you were saying, Nate, that's just mass love, man, coming from way, way back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when we first met, man, you know, we used to butt heads. We're not really butt heads, but just, you know, on an intellectual level, you know, we talking that stuff like we do always. And that's where I became like, hey, I like this dude, man. You talking stuff that, you know, we used to sit there back and just talk about at the barbershop. Now it's going worldwide. I mean, we putting it out there, which is different than what we're getting from quote unquote mainstream black media. I mean, you know, whatever that is. But I think you get my point. But yeah, I see people shout you out on other shows, and Team and I has grown. You know, so that's enough of my drop Smollett. Let me get down to what I really called to talk about.
Sure.
You know, Nate, sometimes, man, I yell at you the same way I yell at Chuck Todd and Chris Matthews back in the day when I want you to ask the questions to drop that, you know, he didn't ask Zell Miller or, you know, or Donald Trump. Because essentially he's still trying to play the Sleepy Joe role, Nate, but I think what they're finding out is actually Sleepy, and I've been saying this for how long? Sleepy Joe no more. Actually, when Joe is out there, he actually sounds like he has common sense. He actually is talking about things that we're actually talking about. And then what gets me, Nate, is that he talked about real clear politics. And of course, I'm going to fact check this dude. And the real clear politics of Joe Biden being up 7 points has actually been a solid 7 points for what? The last 3, 4, 5 months now. I mean, Donald Trump didn't get a bump out of the convention that they thought he might get. I think it was like maybe a 1 point bump, and then it eventually evaporated when the Bob Woodward case came out. And this gets to another point. Drop tries to play there. Well, Joe is out in some cornfield, I don't know, being social distance from people, while Donald Trump is holding indoor rallies when just, 18 hours ago, not even 24 hours ago, he's on tape with Bob Woodward saying it's a killer plague. That's the newest tape. Have you heard that, Nate? They go, it's more than just, it's like it's more dangerous than the strenuous flu. No, he's talking to Bob Woodward. I believe this was like, once again, before the Tulsa rally, where he's saying that, yeah, this is a killer plague. Called it a plague. And then he's out there having rallies indoors, like Drop said, you know, doing the Donald Trump thing where the people behind him are told to wear the mask, Nate. But you saw the footage. If you look out in the crowd, they're not social distancing. It looked like the first skippers. So who are we trying to fool? And then they got an interview with someone, I forget the Arizona newspaper, and they're asking him about, you know, aren't you concerned about this? And he tells the reporter, well, I'm actually concerned about you, talking to me at 6 feet away. But when I'm on stage, you know, I'm away from the crowd. The crowd with no mask. The crowd that, you know, that he says is a plague and a killer. So, well, that's a hell of a spin to put on it. That is a hell of a spin to try to put on that. A guy that really doesn't give a damn about his fans or his supporters, that he's willing to subject you to a killer plague. But as long as he's 6 feet away and up on the stage with plexiglass, he don't really care about you, Drop. And he cared about as much about you and his supporters as he cared about Herman Cain. How did that work out? And RIP to Herman Cain. He was a true soldier. You got to respect him. But again, I think you get my point. Nate, I got to get back to work, man. But I had to get that off, man. I'm like, really? This dude can't be serious. Well, let's just do this too, since we're, you know, all into our politics now. We're all into our little Ralph Tresvant moment here. He actually tried to play that. Well, Donald Trump and his approval rating is up to 45.1. You know, the only thing that's significant about that 45.1, Nate, is the 0.1, because he's never been over 45%. And he's out there trying to cape for a guy that has net to receive 50% support from the people. You know, ideas for a guy that's barely, recognizable, respected. So that's what we're doing now. They dropped just like Donald Trump. They got you on tape too. Got the little hooker on tape. I'm gonna keep using the Ice Cube verse because you're gonna go down as infamous, Drop. Not famous, infamous. Because you're gonna be that dude. You like the Herman Cain of the chop shop, but you still with us, brother. We gonna keep the heat on you. Now let me get back to work, man. I got clients to talk to, man. I'm out for these sissies.
Hey, the call. That's Mason Mahler. Appreciate it. Yeah, Donald Trump has never hit 50%. He's the most unpopular president in modern history, right? If you go back over the last, 25 years, his poll numbers are absolutely south of every other president before him. And it is what it is. I don't want to spend too much time on Donald Trump because his day is coming. His day is election day in November. And as we get closer and closer, I'm going to drill down more into policy. I'm going to have more guests on that speak from the national level about the policy. And I think that's what we should be looking at. You know what I'm saying? Does the integrity matter? It most certainly matters. It most certainly matters. The integrity in which you hold an office as an elected official matters. You know what I'm saying? I know if I represented people, I'm going to represent you to the fullest. I'm going to be thinking about you every single day. You know what I'm saying? As I do what I do, as most elected officials, I've got to believe, do. We see something different with Trump. But back to this, the city of Louisville, Kentucky has settled a wrongful death lawsuit filed by the family of Breonna Taylor. And apparently some of the details are going to come out later today. Look for a press conference around 2 p.m. From what I'm reading from multiple sources is that it is a substantial, that sounds to like multi-millions to me, settlement. And is it going to be substantial enough that it's going to make the masses be quiet? Is it going to keep people off the streets? If we see a mini multi-million-dollar wrongful death settlement, on some levels, can you thank the people that hit the streets in Louisville and the people around the country to keep talking about this? Because quite honestly, if that's my loved one, if that's my daughter, there's no amount of money that you could ever give me to replace her. I don't care if it's like 100 billion. There's no amount of money that can replace a loved one. So look for that. Look for that later on today. Was it 10:49? I got to make a move, family. Again, remember, the show goes live at 7:30 a.m. every day this week. We're going live at 7:30 a.m. every day this week. Okay? Just to give you a heads up. Before we roll out of here, I want to go back into the chop shop because we back, baby. I told you I was not abandoned. I can't abandon the audio portion of the show. It's just the significant amount of the significant portion of the audience has always been in the audio. Okay, so I'm definitely with you every single day. Glad to be back. Brian writes, if you can't take First Amendment verbal abuse, you should not be a cop. Sharp writes, Assistant Police Chief Paul Newdigate heading to Virginia Beach as the new police officer. I wish that man well. Wish him well. He has aspirations. Great. That's the same dude that said that it was super predators were the reason behind the uptick in gun violence in Cincinnati. And as I understand, we were all told this by a very credible source, that's Iris Rowley, that none of the members of that particular council committee did anything to challenge him. Weakness. Mrs. Love being black writes, good morning, fellow beautiful smart choppers. Good morning to you. We back in the building. Mason Marlon writes, they should have gone to Covington Catholic. They don't care if their students become right-wing conservative Donald Trump supporting bigots. Ms. D writes, like I said yesterday, these new thin line American flags seem to be the Confederate flag substitute. Hey, good morning to you, Ms. D. It was super great to meet you. Mason Marlon writes, I agree with Ms. D. Drop writes, good morning, choppers. You miss me? I miss everybody. I miss being and reading and just being inside the chop shop. That's the original chop shop right there. Mason Marlon writes, where's Donald Trump? ? Oh, that's right. Here comes another Bob Woodward tape. Can't play the secondhand knowledge or blame the media game. Got the little hooker on tape, Ice Cube. Mike Jones writes, good morning. Keith writes, most of this is happening on federal lands. Where is the federal dollars for the cleanup? Sister Iris is in the house. She writes, good morning, great people. Can somebody say drought? The forest is dry. Cassandra writes, hey, choppers. What? Cassandra, this is good to see you, Cassandra. Pamela writes, so funny. Drop gets mad when challenged. He doesn't want facts. He just wants to spew his lies. Jane writes, good morning. Hey, good morning, Jane. That's the admin of the Friends who like the Nathan Ivey Show page. Good to see you. Good to see you as always. Man, I'm loving this. Love to be back. Pat writes, hey, choppers. Drop writes, Joe Biden, the great white hope for black Americans. Nah, black people don't look at I can't speak for all black people. The black folks I know and talk politics with don't look at Joe Biden as a great white hope. He's just a Democrat candidate. And many of the black people that I talk politics with on a personal level, away from the mic, and even in front of the mic, Joe Biden was not their first choice. Just to let you know. Pamela writes, oh, Mr. Contrary fame always has to take the road less traveled for attention. Cruther writes, he sounds weak as hell. Let me see here. Oh, they're going back and forth in here, man. They're going back and forth. Drop writes, Spreaker choppers, we back. Let me jump on Facebook. Anthony writes, nobody says climate change doesn't happen naturally. What most people say is that we are heavily contributing to it happening faster. Correctamundo, Anthony. Like I told you, I think the earth is trying to get rid of us. Much like our bodies try to get rid of foreign substances and viruses. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? Allergies are going up. All these things are happening. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. Hey, fast pitch. Good to see. She writes, Donald Trump. Jesse writes, he's all over the place. Charles writes, you said it right, Nate. Donald's drunk. Good to see everybody. Jesse writes, he was just complaining that he was still in his basement. Fast Pitch writes, he said that the first black article said Biden's troubles with blacks is being overrated, right? So the first article he brought up contradicted the following three articles that he mentioned, speaking back to Drop. Drop's a lot of fun. Why did Charles say 25? He said Mr. Ivy 25 times. Y'all funny, man. Y'all are hilarious. Fast Pitch says, I had 29. Y'all hilarious. I got to throw some ABs in here. Why did Charles write, Drop lives in Cornballia, California? See, y'all wrong. Y'all wrong. Brian Hubert writes, drain the swamp as he said he would. C. Smith writes, he is the damn swamp. Y'all wrong. Biden better lace them gloves up. Hillary tried to be mature and you see what it got her right. In my humble opinion, and I'm no special debate prepper, although I have prep for a lot of debates and conversations and all kind of, whatever. But as I analyze it and look at it, you cannot approach a debate with Donald Trump as you would with a normal candidate because you're dealing with somebody who's a pathological liar. You're dealing with somebody who will get up in front of everybody and just tell lies after lies after lies after lies after lies after lies. And then, when you're dealing with somebody like that, and Trump is good at this, is he'll find an element of truth. And that's all he needs is that one little element of truth to keep giving him more energy to tell his lies and to do what he does. He did it with Hillary. All he needs is the smallest. Somebody is telling a whole bunch of lies and don't care about that. Look at Trump don't care about lying to people about nothing. When you're dealing with somebody like that, you can't hold them to their record. It becomes much more difficult because it becomes a he said. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, no, it's not. That debate, something tells me that debate's going to come down to one-liners, zingers. If I was prepping for Trump, I would research what his weak spot is. You know what I'm saying? What does he care about? He doesn't care about telling lies, but there's got to be something that he does care about. Find that, hit that. Whatever it might be. I'm just spitballing here. C. Smith writes, Biden needs to hire Trump's niece. I'd bring his niece up. You know, when you're dealing with a Trumpster, you got to be willing to get down into the mud with him if you're going to come out. That's just how I look at it. All this squeaky clean, I'm just going to go in and keep it on the issues. I would recommend that in most scenarios. With Trump, I would recommend that to begin with, perhaps. But with Trump don't care about that. Trump's going to talk about, he's going to hit Biden where it hurts. He's going to talk about the crime bill. Get ready for it. He's going to talk about how he locked up black folks. Get ready for it, Biden. Tell me I'm wrong. He's going to talk about every mistake and miscue that Joe Biden has ever made. Any mistake that was made during the Obama administration, Trump's going to talk about it, whether it's relevant or not. And all he's trying to do is to put Joe Biden on his heels, to put him on the defensive. And if it works, it works. It doesn't matter. The facts don't matter in those big debates. People are not going to come away and say, you know what? Joe was more factual. They don't care about that. They want to hear one-liners. They want blood. They want to hear zingers. They want to see the sucker punches. They want to see who's going to be more immature, right? Who can get down and dirty. That's what people are looking for. Tell me I'm wrong. That's what it's going to come down to. But listen, folks, we have come down to the end of the show. And I really appreciate you for being here this morning. I will be back and hopefully better than ever tomorrow morning. Listen, don't be surprised to see me go live. Okay, I may have some comments about Breonna Taylor. Perhaps we'll watch the press conference together. I've got to take another look at my son's schedule to make sure that I've actually got the time to do so. So Viva La Chapas. Shout out to Team NI. If you want to support me directly, go to the NathanIvey.com and click on support. You can make a one-time or become a patron and over several months support the show as we build Black independent media in the city of Cincinnati and beyond. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, live, local, and vocal. All right. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. And we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm out.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
I
Oh my God, I'm reading some of these comments. I'm still here, family. Listen, if you take the time to make a comment, I want them to show the comment as long as time permits on the screen at the very least. Man, y'all is hilarious. Y'all got me over here rolling with some of these comments. Y'all ain't right, man. Robert, you are not right, bro. You ain't right. That does represent a question, C. Smith. Like, could you be in a marriage with a man who is bisexual and is actively having bisexual sex, like having sex with other men in your marriage? Oh, don't say that, Robert, because when you say that, then some people are going to take it like somehow you're saying something negative about women or you objectifying women and things like that. Watch it, Robert. Me too. Me too, Daryl. Me too, bro. Y'all are so wrong. Y'all, you so wrong, C. Smith. You so wrong. Yeah, I'm still getting over your comments, C. Smith, but you're right, though. Settlement and an arrest and conviction of the police officers down in Louisville. I'm still with you, family. Facts, right. If his wife knew about his activities, then it's not a down low brother thing. The down low brothers was these men, these weak ass men who couldn't just be who they are. Like, listen, I respect a man who just says who he is. You know what I'm saying? If you bisexual and you real with your lady and she accepts it, then that's on you. I ain't got no problem. That's, number one, that's their relationship. So what make them happy? Cool. So we need more happy couples. More happy black couples. If that makes them happy, and they got, for all we know, she might be bisexual. For all we know, we don't know. Oh, 100%. 100%. You know, after many, many years in corporate radio, the ups and downs and all that kind of stuff. And in the digital world, it's all about your own. It's all about your own. But I appreciate and I understand where people are coming from. It's all love. I don't take anything negatively. It's all love. Because like I said, people don't even have to check out the show in the morning. They don't have to search. They don't have to go to my site. They don't have to be on YouTube. You got a billion options. So the fact that you want to check out this show just means I need to make sure I'm on top of my JOB for you to deliver an experience that's worth your time. Same here, C. Smith. Absolutely. I feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? All this time online, still able to do what I do and build for more and much more to throw. I was just thinking, I mean, I would say you can look for at least 6 new shows from Sin Digital Media. And in the next, I'd say, month or so, some coming online within the next couple of weeks. It's a mixture. It's a hybrid, much like with CPS. Some of these are folks that are already doing existing shows, maybe changing platforms. And some of them are brand new shows, shows that have never existed before with brand new hosts. And I'm looking forward to it. I want to share it all with you guys. It's all about you, quite honestly. Oh, 100%, Dante. You said Fanon Rucker for prosecutor. You know, I already had my issues with Joe Dieters, but when he couldn't even respect the NAACP and the Prince Hall Masons by showing up to do a virtual town hall, you ain't even got to leave your house. I mean, it was just another example of how we are not getting the full representation from that office. I think the Hamilton County prosecutor can play a larger role in solving and addressing some of our community issues, including gun violence, if we had different leadership, if we had a different set of eyes, a different heart, a different mentality. And the more I thought about it, there were just a lot of difficult questions for Joe Dieters that I guess he just didn't want to ask. And you know me as your moderator, if you say some dumb ish, we're not just going to move on to the next question. I need to clarify. And I want you to understand, okay, there's an issue here. And just think about the question of diversity for Joe Dieters. How is Joe Dieters going to answer that question? Like, why isn't the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office more diverse? And what are you doing to bring diversity to the office? Do you believe diversity is a good thing? So a lot of difficult questions for Joe Dieters. And, you know, I can't say I understand why he didn't go because, again, if I'm running for office, I'm going to talk with Republicans. I'm going to the white folks, the black folks, the rich folks, the poor. If you're a voter and a potential constituent, I'm going to be there. Whether I walk into the door thinking I have your support or not, I'm going to be there. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what time it is. That's what we deserve. Yes, I believe it is tonight at 6 p.m. You're right, Angela. I'm sure they just love a big, hefty settlement. We got to end qualified immunity. When these officers have to come out their own pocket, a lot of this stuff will stop. A lot of it'll stop. Good. That's great. That's what time it is. All right, family. Thank you for being here. And I'll be with you tomorrow morning. Until then, I'm out.